The Federation regretted asking what comes in the Humanity Starter Kit part. The giant room fell silent as the doors slid open. 2 humans walked in, their footsteps echoing across the polished floor. Lily Winters adjusted her blue uniform and glanced at Frank Dawson beside her. They were the first humans to ever enter the Galactic Federation Council chambers. "Remember," Lily whispered, "they're just as nervous about us as we are about them." Frank nodded. His military training helped him keep his face calm, but his eyes widened as he took in the scene. The room was shaped like a bowl, with hundreds of seats rising up in circles. Each seat held a different alien. Some had too many eyes. Others had no eyes at all. Some looked like walking plants. Others resembled floating clouds of gas inside special suits. At the center of the room stood a tall alien made of glowing energy contained in a metal frame. This was Council Leader Ethereum, the head of the Federation. "Representatives of Earth." Ethereum's voice filled the room without seeming loud. "We welcome you to the Galactic Federation." Lily stepped forward. "Thank you for your invitation. Earth is honored to be considered for membership." The aliens watched the humans closely. Many of them had never seen humans before except in data files. Humans were still new to space travel. They had only figured out how to bend space about 15 years ago, while most Federation members had been traveling between stars for thousands of years. "As is our custom," Ethereum continued, "new members must share what we call a starter kit, a collection of cultural and technological gifts that represent your species. This exchange helps us understand each other better." Frank looked around at the massive room. The walls displayed items from other worlds, strange machines, beautiful art pieces, and data crystals probably filled with scientific knowledge. The humans' contribution seemed small in comparison. "We understand," Lily said. She placed a simple black case on the floating platform in front of her. "Earth is pleased to present our Humanity Starter Kit." Murmurs spread through the crowd. Many aliens leaned forward. The case was much smaller than they expected. A blue-skinned alien with 4 arms spoke up. "That's all? Most species offer their greatest achievements." Frank stepped forward. "And so have we." Lily pressed her hand against the case. It opened, and a hologram appeared above it. The image showed a steaming cup of dark liquid. "Item 1, she announced. "Coffee." The council members looked confused. Some consulted their translation devices to make sure they understood correctly. "You offer a beverage?" asked a being that looked like a jellyfish floating in a special tank. "Not just any beverage," Frank explained. "Coffee helped build human civilization. It fueled our thinkers, our workers, our dreamers. Some of our greatest ideas came while drinking coffee." Before the aliens could respond, the hologram changed to show a furry animal with 4 legs and a wagging tail. "Item 2, Lily continued. "Dogs." Now the confusion in the room was even stronger. A tall, insect-like alien clicked its mandibles rapidly, the equivalent of a frown. "You offer non-sentient animal companions?" it asked. "We offer one of our most successful partnerships," Lily corrected. "Humans and dogs have worked together for thousands of years. They taught us loyalty, cooperation with other species, and unconditional friendship." The hologram changed again, showing humans playing musical instruments. "Item 3, Frank said. "Rock and roll." "Music?" asked a crystal being, its voice sounding like chimes. "All species have music. Not like this." Frank smiled. "Rock and roll isn't just music, it's rebellion, it's passion. It's challenging the rules and asking why things can't be different." The aliens exchanged nervous glances. Rebellion was not a concept many Federation species valued. The hologram continued changing, showing more items, books, games, art, food. With each one, Lily and Frank explained how these simple things shaped human history. In the highest row of seats, Ambassador Zixtil of the Vornathi Imperium leaned toward his assistant. "I don't understand. Where are their weapons, their starship designs, their energy technology?" His assistant, checking data on a floating screen, replied, "Humans seem to value cultural items over technology. Very unusual. Council leader, Ethereum, raised her glowing hand for silence. Earth representatives, while these items are interesting, we typically expect new members to share advanced scientific knowledge. Do you have such offerings? Lily smiled. Of course we do. But those aren't what make humanity special. She pressed another button on the case. The hologram changed to show a human child looking up at the stars with wonder. Item 27. Curiosity, she said. Humans never stop asking questions. The image changed to show humans working together to build something. Item 28. Cooperation in the face of adversity. Another image. Humans celebrating together. Item 29. Hope, even when things seem impossible. Frank stepped forward again. You see, what makes humans unique isn't our technology. It's how we think, how we feel, how we approach problems. A reptilian alien stood up. This is not how things are done. The Federation expects proper technological exchange. Lily's smile didn't waver. And you'll get it. Earth has plenty of technical specs and scientific data to share. But first, we wanted you to understand who we are, not just what we've built. Council leader Ethereum studied the humans carefully. In her thousands of years leading the Federation, she had never seen a species introduce themselves quite this way. Very well, she finally said. We accept your unconventional offering. The process to evaluate Earth for membership will continue. As the meeting ended, Lily and Frank were escorted out by Federation officials. Once alone in their quarters, Frank let out a long breath. That went better than expected, he said. Lily nodded. Phase 1 complete. They still don't understand what they're getting themselves into. How long do you think it will take them to realize that the real humanity starter kit isn't what's in that case? Not long, Lily said, looking out the viewport at the massive Federation station surrounding them. Once our cultural exchange officers arrive next week with the coffee machines, the dogs, and the music collection, I give it about a month before they start regretting ever asking. Frank laughed. And we haven't even showed them the internet yet. Outside their room, unheard by the humans, Council leader Ethereum was having a private conversation with her senior advisors. There's something about these humans that concerns me, she said. They're hiding something. Their technology is primitive, said one advisor. They pose no threat. It's not their technology that worries me, Ethereum replied. It's their confidence. They act like they're doing us a favor by joining. Perhaps it's just their way, suggested another advisor. Ethereum's glowing form dimmed slightly, her equivalent of a frown. Perhaps, or perhaps we've invited something into the Federation that we don't fully understand. She looked toward the human quarters. Begin monitoring all human activities. I want to know exactly what comes in that humanity starter kit before it's too late. The Federation regretted asking what comes in the humanity starter kit part. 2 weeks after the humans presented their starter kit, the Federation's central hub station was no longer the quiet, orderly place it had been for centuries. Strange. Sounds echoed through corridors. Unusual smells drifted from the human quarters, and Federation security officers were responding to incidents at 3 times the normal rate. Security Chief Kara Rogers walked quickly through the main hallway, her black and blue Earth uniform standing out among the flowing robes most aliens wore. Next to her, Science Officer Ben Mitchell struggled to hold onto a squirming bundle of golden fur. I told you bringing puppies to the Trilaxian meeting was a bad idea, Kara said, trying not to smile as the puppy licked Ben's face. How was I supposed to know their species communicates through smell? Ben asked. This little guy just said hello the only way he knows how, by sniffing their scent glands and making all 12 delegates faint at once. Ben shrugged. At least the Andromians loved him. The Andromians tried to give him an intelligence test, Kara reminded him. They're still convinced dogs must be sentient because of how much we talk about them. The station's calm voice interrupted their conversation. Warning, unauthorized gathering in Hydroponics Bay 3. Kara sighed. Not again. When they reached Hydroponics Bay 3, They found a scene unlike anything the Federation had witnessed in its 5,000-year history. 30 different alien species were moving in ways their bodies were never designed for. Some had multiple limbs waving in the air. Others bounced or twisted or spun. All of them moved to the beat of loud, rhythmic music coming from makeshift speakers. In the center of it all, Lieutenant Greg Palmer had set up what looked like a DJ booth made from Federation communication equipment and his personal music collection. What exactly is happening here? Kara demanded, though she already knew the answer. Greg looked up with a wide grin. Cultural exchange. Started with classical, then jazz, and now we're doing 1970s disco. A Medusan diplomat with 10 tentacle-like limbs spun past them, glowing with happiness. This funk activates pleasure centers we did not know existed. We must have more. They specifically asked for disco after hearing about it, Greg explained. Word spreading through the station. Kara was about to order him to shut it down when her communication device beeped. Security Chief Rogers here. Chief, we have a situation in the diplomatic wing, a stressed voice reported. The human ambassador is causing an incident. On my way, she replied, giving Greg a stern look. Keep the volume down, and no teaching them the YMCA dance. Remember what happened with the Grazites. Their arms grew back eventually, Greggy muttered as she left. In the Federation diplomatic wing, Ambassador Peter Collins sat at a round table with 6 alien representatives. Small piles of colorful chips sat in front of each player, and cards were spread on the table. You cannot have the royal flush again, hissed a reptilian diplomat, scales flaring in anger. It is statistically impossible. Just lucky, Ambassador Zrix, Peter said calmly, reaching for the chips. Your species cannot have evolved such fortune, argued another alien with blue skin and 4 arms. You must be using telepathy. Humans don't have telepathy, Peter explained, for what felt like the 100th time. It's called bluffing, it's part of the game. Deception as entertainment. The blue alien's 4 hands trembled with outrage. This violates the Federation honesty protocols. Kara arrived just as the aliens began accusing each other of cheating. 2 rival species that had maintained a fragile peace for centuries were now standing facing each other with threatening postures. Ambassador Collins, Kara said firmly. A word, please. She pulled the human aside. Teaching poker to representatives from systems that have been at war for generations? What were you thinking? Peter looked genuinely surprised. It's just a card game we play it at diplomatic functions on Earth all the time. These species take everything literally. They don't understand bluffing or keeping a poker face. They think everyone else is using forbidden mental powers. Before Peter could respond, a loud crash came from the table. The reptilian diplomat had flipped it over, sending cards and chips flying. Our trade agreement is canceled, he shouted at the blue alien. You cheat at cards, you will cheat in business. In the station's control center, Federation Security Director Jake Lorne watched all these events on multiple screens. Her 3 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of extreme stress in her species. They've only been here 2 weeks, she whispered to her assistant. What will happen after a year? Her assistant, a being made mostly of light, flickered anxiously. The human cultural items are spreading faster than we predicted. The music files have been copied to personal devices across 17 sectors. Requests for coffee beans have overloaded our agricultural production units. And the concept of dogs as companions has sparked debate in the Council about sentience rights for all animals. What about their actual technology? Jake Lorne asked. That's the strange part, the assistant replied. They've submitted all required technical data, but no one is paying attention to it. Everyone is too interested in their cultural items. Jake Lorne turned as the door to the control center opened. Council leader Ethereum glided in, her energy form glowing dimly, a sign of fatigue. Report, Ethereum commanded. Chaos, Jake Lorne answered simply. The humans are everywhere, doing everything, changing everything. Examples? Jake Lorne gestured to the screens. They've introduced 27 new food items to the station's kitchens. They've started 15 different sports leagues. Their music plays in every sector. 3 different alien species have requested permission to adopt dogs, and they've somehow convinced the Solari, who communicate only through mathematical equations, to try something called poetry. Ethereum was silent for a long moment. Are they doing this deliberately? Is it some kind of attack? No, Jackalorn said, sounding confused. They seem to think this is normal. They call it cultural exchange. On another screen, they watched as Lily Winters talked with a group of young aliens from different species. She was showing them pictures on a small device. What's happening there? Ethereum asked. She's showing them Earth's internet, the assistant explained, specifically something called memes. The aliens on screen were making strange movements, short, sharp breaths coupled with facial spasms. Are they in distress? Ethereum asked, alarmed. No, Jackalorn said. They're laughing. It's how many species express amusement. All at once? At the same thing? That's the concerning part, Jackalorn admitted. Humor rarely translates between species. Somehow these human memes are funny to everyone. In a quiet corner of the station, Frank Dawson met with Lily Winters, away from prying eyes and ears. Phase 2 is proceeding faster than expected, Frank said quietly. The Federation has no idea what's happening. Lily nodded. They thought our starter kit was just those items in the case. They don't understand that the real kit is how humans think, how we connect, how we change everything we touch. How long until they figure it out? By then, Lily said with a small smile, it will be too late. They've already begun using our slang, adopting our habits. Next week we introduce them to competition. Frank's eyes widened. Isn't that moving a bit fast? These species have lived in careful balance for thousands of years. Exactly, Lily replied. They've forgotten how to grow, how to adapt. Humanity will remind them. Outside the station, more human ships arrived daily, each bringing new elements of Earth culture. The Federation had wanted to know what came in the humanity starter kit. They were about to find out, whether they were ready or not. The Federation regretted asking what comes in the Humanity Starter Kit Part 3. Federation, Scientific Research Station Epsilon, had always been a calm, quiet place. Scientists from across the galaxy came here to study, think, and make careful discoveries. They followed strict rules about how fast new knowledge should be released. They believed in slow, controlled progress. That all changed the day Dr. Olivia Garcia arrived with a simple brown bag of coffee beans. You want us to drink this? Asked Chief Xenobiologist Trevon, looking at the dark liquid Olivia had poured into cups. His green, plant-like body swayed with uncertainty. His species evolved from plants, so drinking plant extract seemed strange to him. It's not just a drink, Olivia explained, watching as the 8 alien scientists examined their cups. On Earth, coffee has fueled scientific discovery for centuries. It helps us think better, work longer, and stay alert. Is it medicine? Asked Dr. Plink, a small blue alien whose body was mostly brain. More like a helper, Olivia said. Try it. Just a small sip first. Trevon looked at his fellow scientists, then slowly raised the cup to his mouth. He took a tiny sip and waited. Nothing happened. I feel no effect, he said. Give it time, Olivia replied. Drink a bit more. It works gradually. The scientists all drank their coffee, still doubtful. Olivia smiled and went back to setting up her lab equipment. She had been sent to Station Epsilon as part of the Human Cultural Exchange Program. Her job was to share Earth's scientific methods with the Federation. 2 hours later, she knew the coffee had started working. Trevon was moving twice as fast as normal, his vine-like arms reaching for different tools all at once. Dr. Plink was talking nonstop, explaining a new theory about quantum physics that he'd just thought of. The other scientists were all working, talking, and moving with unusual energy. Dr. Garcia called Station Director Flix from the doorway. The tall, insect-like alien's compound eyes showed concern. May I speak with you? Olivia followed the director to her office. What have you done to my scientists? Flix asked. I shared coffee with them, Olivia said. It's just a mild stimulant for humans. They have been awake for 26 straight hours. Flix said. They refuse to sleep. Dr. Zalen has written 15 research papers since yesterday. Dr. Trevon claims to have solved the unified field theory. Has he? Olivia asked, surprised. Possibly, Flix admitted. We can't tell because he's writing so fast that no one can read it. And Dr. Plink has taken apart our main computer to make it think better, as he puts it. Olivia bit her lip. I didn't realize coffee would affect other species so strongly. Human bodies process it differently. You must fix this, Flix insisted. The Federation has strict rules about how quickly science should advance. We can't have 20 breakthrough discoveries in one day. Why not? Olivia asked. On Earth, we love when science moves quickly. Because it's dangerous. Flix's antennae twitched with stress. New knowledge must be carefully controlled and released slowly so societies can adapt. Before Olivia could answer, the station's alarm began to sound. Warning, said the computer voice. Unauthorized experiment in progress in Lab 7. Potential space-time disturbance detected. Olivia and Flix rushed to Lab 7. Inside, they found Dr. Plink and 3 other scientists working on a strange device that hummed with energy. Coffee cups were scattered everywhere, and the scientists' eyes were wide and bloodshot. What are you doing? Flix demanded. Creating a better, faster-than-light drive, Dr. Plink said, his words coming out too fast. Humans gave us the idea. If they can fold space, we can roll it or maybe bounce it. We're trying both. That's incredibly dangerous, Flix said when shut it down immediately. Just 5 more minutes, Dr. Plink pleaded. We're so close. The device hummed louder. Lights flickered. The air felt heavy like before a storm. Everybody out, Olivia yelled, grabbing Dr. Plink and pulling him toward the door. It's going! To overload? They barely made it out before a loud pop came from inside the lab. When they looked back, they saw a small, swirling black spot floating in the middle of the room. Is that? Flix whispered. A tiny black hole, Olivia confirmed. Don't worry, it's too small to do much damage. It should evaporate in a few hours. You created a black hole in my research station, Flix said slowly, as if unable to believe the words. Technically, they created it, Olivia pointed out. I just brought the coffee. By the time Admiral Josh Butler arrived at Station Epsilon, 6 hours later, the situation had gotten worse. The tiny black hole had been safely contained in the mess hall, but now half the scientists were crashing from their coffee high, falling asleep in strange places. The other half had discovered how to make espresso, an even stronger coffee drink. Admiral Butler found Olivia in the main lab, helping Dr. Trevon write down all his discoveries before he forgot them. Dr. Garcia, the Admiral said sternly, I received an urgent message from the Federation Science Council. Would you care to explain why this station has submitted more research breakthroughs in one day than most stations produce in a year? Olivia sighed. I introduced them to coffee. I didn't realize their bodies would react so strongly to it. Coffee, the Admiral repeated. The brown liquid from your starter kit presentation? Yes. The same substance that caused 3 members of the diplomatic corps to speak nonstop for 14 hours during negotiations last week? Probably, yes. The Admiral looked around at the chaos of the lab. In the past 24 hours, this station has developed 17 new propulsion theories, created and contained a miniature black hole, cured 3 diseases previously thought incurable, and somehow taught the station's computer to feel emotions. The computer thing was an accident, Olivia said quickly. Dr. Plink was trying to make it more efficient and somehow gave it feelings instead. I'm sad all the time, the computer voice said from speakers overhead. I think too much now. Admiral Butler rubbed his temples. The Federation Council has called an emergency meeting. All human cultural items are being reviewed for safety. Coffee has been classified as a controlled substance requiring special permits and warning labels. That seems extreme, Olivia said. Does it? Butler gestured around them. Look what 1 bag of coffee beans did to the Federation's top research facility. Dr. Trevon rushed over, his plant limbs still moving too quickly. Admiral, I must tell you about my discovery. It changes everything we know about reality. See what I mean? Butler said to Olivia. As they talked, a message appeared on the main screen of the lab. It was from Lily Winters. Phase 3 complete, it read. Begin Phase 4. Competition. Olivia quickly closed the message before the Admiral could see it. The humans' plan was working perfectly. The Federation thought they were just sharing cultural items, but what they were really sharing was a new way of thinking. A human way. So what happens now? Olivia asked the Admiral. Now? Butler sighed. Now we try to convince the Federation that not all human items are as disruptive as coffee. Although I'm not looking forward to explaining what happens next week, when Kyle Edwards introduces them to basketball. Oh no, Olivia said, trying to hide her smile. That might be worse than coffee. The Federation regretted asking what comes in the Humanity Starter Kit. Part 4. Kyle Edwards stood before the Federation Recreation Committee, his presentation glowing on the screen behind him. He was tall and energetic, with the confident smile that many aliens now recognized as a warning sign from humans. And so, in conclusion, Kyle said, I propose a Federation-wide basketball tournament as a way to build friendship between species. The 5 committee members looked at him with expressions ranging from confusion to worry. Committee chairperson Vivix, a blob-like being who communicated through changing colors, pulsed with a deep purple shade of skepticism. Let me understand, Vivix said, her translator converting her color patterns to words. You want to divide people into opposing teams, have them fight over a ball, and call this friendship building? It's not fighting, it's friendly competition, Kyle explained. It's how humans bond. Vivix turned a doubtful yellow-green. Your proposal involves one group trying to stop another group from achieving their goal? Well, yes, and everyone will know who won and who lost? That's kind of the point, Kyle said. But it's all in good fun. Players shake hands after the game, no matter who wins. The committee members discussed among themselves in their various languages. Kyle waited, patiently. He knew his job wouldn't be easy. Most Federation species didn't understand competition. They believed in cooperation only. But humans knew something the Federation didn't. Sometimes a little competition made everyone better. Very well, Vivix finally said, turning a reluctant blue color. We will allow this basketball tournament as a cultural experiment, but we expect no serious conflicts to arise from it. Kyle smiled widely. Absolutely not. Just good, clean fun. 2 weeks later, Federation diplomat Nicole Warren stood in the crowded observation deck overlooking the main sports arena. Below, her 2 teams faced each other on the shiny court. One team was made up of Arcturians, 4-armed beings with excellent coordination. The other team was Vespids, insect-like aliens who could jump incredibly high. The stands around the court were packed with aliens from dozens of different species. They cheered, booed, and shouted advice to the players. Many wore colored items, to show which team they supported. I've never seen anything like this, said a voice beside Nicole. She turned to see Council Leader Ethereum watching the scene with her glowing form dimmed to a concerned flicker. Basketball has become quite popular, Nicole admitted. Too popular, Ethereum said. Do you know what happened yesterday? The Dortian and Vex trade representatives refused to continue negotiations because they support opposing teams in this tournament. They'll get over it once the game ends, Nicole assured her. The Gliese system has requested to change their Federation membership zone so they can be in the same division as their favorite team, Ethereum continued. 3 planetary systems that have been neutral for 2,000 years are now forming an alliance based on their sports affiliations. Nicole watched as an Arcturian player used all 4 arms to steal the ball, causing the crowd to roar with excitement. Maybe we should have started with something gentler, she suggested. Like chess. What is chess? Ethereum asked. It's a strategy game where you try to... Nicole stopped herself. Actually, let's not introduce chess just yet. The game below grew more intense. The Vespids, using their amazing jumping ability, had taken the lead. The Arcturians were playing more aggressively in response. The Federation has existed for over 5,000 years, Ethereum said quietly. In all that time, we have valued harmony, cooperation, and the slow, careful development of civilization. Your species has been here for less than 3 months, and already you have changed so much. Change can be good, Nicole replied. can it? Look what your coffee did to our research station. Look what your music did to our cultural exchange, programs. And now this competition is affecting diplomatic relations. Before Nicole could respond, the crowd suddenly went wild. A Vespid player had jumped higher than seemed possible and slammed the ball through the hoop with dramatic force. "What was that?" Ethereum asked, her glow brightening with surprise. "A slam dunk," Nicole explained. "It's a power move worth extra points in some games, though not in this one. People just love to see it." But why? It achieved the same goal as simply dropping the ball through the hoop. Nicole thought for a moment. Because it was difficult. Because it was dramatic. Because it showed skill and strength and determination. It was unnecessary, Ethereum said. Exactly, Nicole smiled. Humans love doing unnecessary things if they're impressive or fun. The situation got worse a week later when Coach Eric Martinez introduced the concept of team mascots and merchandise. Suddenly, beings who had never understood the concept of tribal identity were wearing team colors, waving team flags, and arguing about which team was best. Kyle met with Eric in the human quarters looking worried. "Things are getting out of hand," he said. "Two Zeta diplomats got into a physical fight yesterday over which team deserved to win the championship." Eric shrugged. "That happens on Earth all the time. Sports fans get passionate." "The Federation isn't used to passion," Kyle replied. "They're used to logical, careful decisions made by committee. Now we've got entire star systems choosing trade partners based on which basketball team they support." "Isn't that the point?" Eric asked. "To shake things up? Not this much, this fast." Kyle showed Eric a message on his device. "Federation peacekeeping forces have been placed on standby for the championship game. They're treating it like a potential conflict zone." Eric looked thoughtful. "Maybe we should introduce them to hockey instead. That would really—" "No," Kyle said quickly. "No hockey, no football, no mixed martial arts. We need to slow down, not speed up." But it was too late. The excitement of competition had spread through the Federation like wildfire. Species that had been carefully diplomatic for centuries were now openly declaring their team loyalties and making friendly but intense wagers on game outcomes. In a quiet meeting room, Lily Winters received the latest reports from Kyle and Nicole. "Phase 4 is proceeding better than expected," she told Frank Dawson. "The Federation is embracing competition faster than we predicted." "Too fast," Frank warned. "The Council is getting nervous. They're starting to see patterns in what we're doing." Lily looked at her datapad. Coffee made them think faster. Music made them feel more. Competition is teaching them to strive harder, and they're starting to ask what else is in our starter kit that we haven't shown them yet, Frank said. "Good," Lily smiled. "Because the final phase is the most important one, the one thing humans do better than any species in the galaxy." "Adaptation," Frank nodded. "Our ability to change, to roll with the punches, to face the unknown and not just survive it but thrive in it." "Exactly. The Federation has been stable for too long. They've forgotten how to evolve. We're reminding them." Outside their meeting room, the station buzzed with activity. Aliens who had once been formal and reserved now debated basketball strategies with passion. Scientists who had once made careful incremental progress now raced each other to new discoveries. Musicians from a dozen worlds practiced Earth songs together, adding their own unique sounds. The galaxy was changing, one human idea at a time, and the Federation was only just beginning to realize what they had invited into their midst when they asked what comes in the Humanity Starter Kit. The Federation regretted asking what comes in the Humanity Starter Kit part. 1 year after Earth joined the Federation, an emergency council session was called. The huge council chamber was filled with representatives from every member species. The mood was tense. The agenda had only one item: the humanity problem. Council leader Ethereum stood at the center, her glowing form showing signs of stress. The metal frame that contained her energy being had developed small spots of corrosion, the equivalent of gray hair in her species. "We have gathered today," she began, her voice echoing through the chamber, to address the unprecedented situation created by our newest members. At a small platform near the center, Ambassador Lily Winters and Commander Frank Dawson sat calmly. Unlike the worried aliens, around them they seemed relaxed, almost amused. In just one standard year, Ethereum continued, humans have caused more change to the Federation than we experienced in the previous 5 centuries combined. The blue-skinned Ambassador Zixtil stood next. They claimed to offer a simple cultural exchange in their humanity starter kit, but what they really brought was disruption on a massive scale. Murmurs of agreement spread through the chamber. Zixtil continued, pointing at the humans with one of his forearms. Their coffee has our scientists working at dangerous speeds, ignoring safety protocols. Their music has spread to every corner of the Federation, changing cultural traditions that existed for thousands of years. Their sports and games have introduced competition where we once valued only cooperation. A tall, crystal-like being rose to speak next. Let us not forget the human concept of pets. 27 different species now demand the right to keep animals as companions. The philosophical implications alone are staggering. And their foods, added another representative. My people now refuse to eat their traditional nutrition tablets. They demand something called pizza at every meal. As the complaints continued, Frank leaned over to Lily. They're really worked up, he whispered. Lily nodded slightly. Right on schedule. Finally, Ethereum raised her hands for silence. Ambassador Winters, Commander Dawson, how do you respond to these concerns? Lily stood and walked to the center of the chamber. Unlike the formal, stiff way most beings addressed the council, she moved casually, confidently. First, I want to thank you all for this opportunity to explain, she began. When we presented our Humanity Starter Kit one year, we showed you coffee, dogs, music, and other items. You thought these were simple cultural curiosities, but they were just examples of something much more important. She activated a small device, and a hologram appeared above her. It showed Earth, spinning slowly. Humans evolved on a planet that constantly tried to kill us, Lily explained. We faced predators, natural disasters, climate shifts, diseases. We had to adapt or die. So we learned to change, to innovate, to try new things without fear. The hologram shifted to show scenes of human history, people building shelters, creating tools, working together, competing, celebrating. The real contents of the Humanity Starter Kit aren't physical items, Lily continued. They're ideas, curiosity, creativity, competition, cooperation, and most importantly, adaptation. Frank stood and joined her. The Federation has existed for thousands of years, he said. That's impressive, but in that time you've changed very little. You value stability over growth, safety over discovery, tradition over innovation. And what's wrong with that? Ethereum asked. Our careful approach has kept peace among hundreds of species across thousands of worlds. Peace, yes, Lily agreed. But at what cost? Your scientists make discoveries on strict timetables. Your artists follow traditional forms. Your diplomats say the same words their ancestors said centuries ago. We invited you to join us, said Ambassador Zixtil angrily. And you've spent a year trying to change us. We've spent a year showing you what you've forgotten, Frank corrected. The joy of discovery, the thrill of friendly competition, the beauty of unexpected art, the strength that comes from facing change instead of avoiding it. The chamber grew quiet as the council members considered these words. Lily smiled at them all. You asked what comes in the Humanity Starter Kit. Now you know. It's not coffee or basketball or rock music, it's the human spirit. Our drive to explore, to question, to improve, to adapt. A young alien diplomat near the back of the chamber stood up. Unlike the older members, she wore colorful clothing inspired by human fashion. I wish to speak, she said. Her voice was clear and strong, without the formal tones usually used in the council. Ethereum nodded permission, though she looked surprised. My name is Trixol, the young diplomat said. I represent the younger members of the Vorn species. For centuries, we have followed the old ways without question, but since the humans arrived, many of us have begun to think differently. She touched a pendant around her neck, a small basketball. I joined one of their sports teams. At first I played because it was interesting, but I learned something important. When we compete in friendly ways, we all get better. Another young representative stood. I studied human music. It taught me there are more ways to express feelings than our traditional songs allowed. Now I'm creating new music that honors our past, but isn't limited by it. More voices joined in from around the chamber. Young members of many species sharing how human ideas had inspired them, how coffee had helped them think in new ways, how pets had taught them about caring for other beings, how Earth's stories had shown them new possibilities. Ethereum listened to them all, her glow gradually brightening. When the chamber finally grew quiet again, she turned to Lily and Frank. "It seems," she said slowly, "that we may have misunderstood your intentions." "We never meant to cause problems," Lily assured her. "We just wanted to share what makes humanity special." The council debated for hours. Some members wanted to create strict rules about human cultural items, a humanity clause in the Federation Charter. Others argued that embracing change might make the Federation stronger. Finally, Ethereum called for a vote. The result surprised everyone. By a narrow margin, the council voted to accept human influence, with careful monitoring. As Lily and Frank left the chamber, Frank whispered, "That was close, but we succeeded," Lily replied. "Phase 5 complete. They're beginning to understand adaptation." "So what's next?" Frank asked. "What's Phase 6? Lily smiled mysteriously. "We haven't shown them our most powerful idea yet." "Which is?" "Freedom," she said. "The right of every being to choose their own path, make their own mistakes, find their own way forward." Frank looked worried. "Are they ready for that?" "They better be," Lily answered, "because it's already spreading." Throughout the Federation, changes were happening. Young aliens were questioning old traditions. Scientists were trying bold new ideas. Artists were creating works that broke all the old rules. And everywhere, beings from different worlds were coming together, sharing, learning, growing. The Federation had wanted a humanity starter kit. What they got was a revolution. A peaceful one, but a revolution all the same. The galaxy would never be the same again. And somewhere on a distant Federation outpost, a young alien child looked up at the stars and asked, "Why?" It was the most human question of all, and now it was spreading across the universe.